Rain doesn't kill you, but the dumb things you do in the rain absolutely can. And the worst part, most of them feel harmless until your tires let go, your visor fogs up, and your panic braking turns into a high-speed slip and slide. That's why crash reports just say lost control instead of what really happened. You acted like the laws of physics stop working when your jacket gets damp. This video is for riders who think rain is just water and not a full-on obstacle course for your reflexes, gear, tires, and brain. Because trust me, if you've never crashed in the rain, you've either been very lucky or you've already forgotten the mistake that nearly got you. Either way, it's time to fix that. Let's break down the real reason riders crash in wet weather so you can survive your next storm with dignity, traction, and all your bones still intact. Number 1. Riding like it's still dry. Rain starts falling, and instead of adapting, some riders keep cruising like it's still sunny. Same speed, same lean angles, same braking points. It's a fantasy, one that ends with a very real slide across the pavement. Here's the truth. Wet roads cut your traction in half. That means your margin for error disappears. The tire that gripped just fine an hour ago might now lock up under mild pressure. But most crashes don't happen because the road was too wet. They happen because the rider didn't change. In the rain, you need smoother inputs. No jerky throttle, no sharp brake grabs, no late lean-ins. It's all about gentle transitions and longer reaction windows. The road won't forgive your mistakes, and neither will your tires. But this isn't just about going slower. It's about riding smarter. Adjust your following distance, double your caution at intersections, and stop assuming the corner ahead has the same grip as the one behind you, because it doesn't. Experienced riders know that wet riding is a whole different game. Not harder, just stricter. The rules change and your habits have to change with them. If you don't respect the rain, it won't respect you. And that's how a casual ride becomes an ambulance ride. Number 2. Painted lines, manhole covers, and road markings. These are the landmines of wet riding, and most riders don't think twice until their tires slip right across one. Crosswalk paint, slippery. Lane dividers, slippery. Manhole covers mid-turn, slippery and metallic, aka zero grip. Even those big reflective arrows can become ice when wet. You could be doing everything right, perfect lean, smooth throttle, and still get wiped out just because your rear tire touched a wet logo stamped in asphalt. The trick is to spot them early and ride accordingly. Don't trail brake across them, don't lean too much on top of them. Don't accelerate aggressively right after crossing one. Treat them like mini oil slicks. They may not be deadly on their own, but they'll erase your margin for error in an instant. And remember, the worst time to hit one is mid-corner or mid-brake. The tire's already loaded, and now it's sliding sideways with no warning. In dry weather, these surface hazards are just visual clutter. In the rain, they're the reason your bike might suddenly be on its side. Always keep your eyes scanning for changes in texture and color on the road. If it looks shiny, treat it like it's dangerous, because it probably is. Number 3. Poor tire condition or wrong tire type. Rain doesn't care how cool your tires look. It only cares about grooves, deep ones. Those grooves are what push water away from the contact patch. If they're gone, hardened, or never existed, hello slicks. You're basically riding on oily glass. Many riders think, well, they still have some tread, or worse. These sport tires grip like glue in the dry. Yeah, in the dry. Rain turns them into hockey pucks. And old tires, they betray you slowly. Even if they look okay, the rubber gets stiff over time, losing its ability to flex and stick. So when the rain hits, they stop behaving like tires and start acting like plastic wheels. The worst part? You won't even realize the problem until you're picking up your bike from a low side. If you're doing long distance, commuting, or just riding through seasonal weather changes, you need tires made for all of that. Something with silica compounds, siping, and real-world wet grip ratings. Choosing tires is like choosing shoes for a marathon. You wouldn't run one in flip-flops just because they're technically shoes. So check the date code, check the wear bars, and make sure you're not betting your life on 2 millimeters of balled rubber designed for track days in the sun. Number 4. Panic braking without ABS. Wet roads amplify every mistake, but the biggest one by far is grabbing the front brake like it owes you money. In the dry, you might get away with it, but in the rain, that front tire will lock up faster than a toddler spotting broccoli. And once it locks, you're going down. No warning, no second chance, just instant slide. ABS is a lifesaver here, literally. It won't make you stop shorter, but it'll stop you from losing control. The problem is, many riders either don't have ABS or they don't trust it. They've never practiced braking in wet conditions, so when panic hits, they do the worst thing: clamp and freeze. Smooth, progressive braking is the key. Feel the weight shift, apply pressure gradually. If you don't have ABS, you need even more finesse, especially with the front. And don't forget the rear. In the rain, it can help stabilize the bike, unless you stomp on it and trigger a slide of your own. The irony: most rainy day crashes labeled loss of control are actually loss of nerve. If you haven't trained your reflexes for wet braking, you'll panic and do the wrong thing. Practice now or panic later. Number 5. Low visibility from fogged visors or rain on glasses. You could be the best rider in the world, but if you can't see, you're gambling with your life. And rain has a nasty habit of turning your helmet into a fishbowl. Fogged visors, smeared glasses, water droplets catching headlights. Suddenly, everything's a blur. That curve ahead, you can barely make it out. That pothole, hidden until it's too late. You might think visibility is just a comfort issue, but it's one of the biggest factors in rainy day crashes. It starts small. You crack the visor to vent it, and now water's dripping down your nose. You wipe it with your glove, smearing it worse. You reach for a tear-off, realize you don't have one, and boom, you miss your braking point. The solution isn't rocket science. Carry a pinlock insert or anti-fog treatment. Clean your visor before the ride. Use a water-repelling spray on the outside. If you wear glasses, use the same tricks. Plus, consider a neck gaiter to keep your breath off the lenses. And remember, riding blind is worse than not riding at all. If your visor fogs and you can't see, pull over. Visibility isn't optional, it's survival. Too many crashes start with, "I just couldn't see." Fix that first. Number 6. Hydroplaning in deep water or puddles. Most riders don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. 1 second you're cruising, the next your handlebars feel weightless and your tires are skating like Bambi on ice. That's hydroplaning. It happens when a layer of water builds between your tire and the road, lifting you just enough to destroy grip. No traction, no steering, no braking. You're a passenger now, on a 400-pound missile with no say in where it's going. What causes it? Speed mostly. The faster you go, the harder it is for your tires to push water aside. Add worn tread, poor tire pressure, or wide tires not made for the rain, and you're asking for it. And puddles, they're not innocent little splashes. Some are inches deep, hiding potholes, debris, or just enough water to float your tire for a second. That second is all it takes. Slow down. Seriously, on rainy roads, especially unfamiliar ones, ease off the throttle near standing water. Pick your lines to avoid big puddles. Keep your input smooth and gentle, no hard braking, no sudden turns. Hydroplaning isn't a myth. It's not reserved for cars. And when it hits mid-corner or mid-pass, you don't get a warning. You just get to test your sliding skills and your gear's abrasion resistance. Number 7. Cold, stiff hands and delayed reactions. Rain rarely shows up alone. It usually brings cold wind, damp gear, and fingers that feel like frozen sausages. And those frozen sausages, They're in charge of your clutch, brakes, throttle, and every millisecond decision that keeps you alive. When your hands go numb, your reaction time slows way down. Your grip strength drops. You lose fine motor control. That quick two-finger brake squeeze turns into a full-hand panic grab. That subtle throttle roll becomes a jerky lurch, and your ability to countersteer smoothly? Gone. Now layer that on top of wet pavement, poor visibility, and surprise hazards. Suddenly, you're reacting half a second too late, and that half a second is all it takes to go from sketchy, crashed. It gets worse with cheap gloves. Ones that aren't waterproof, have no insulation, or turn into cold sponges after 10 minutes. Now your body's wasting energy just trying to keep your fingers functional, which drains your focus even more. Invest in real rain gloves. Heated, insulated, windproof, whatever your climate demands. And if it's truly freezing out, bring chemical warmers or bar heaters, because the road won't wait for your hands to thaw. In the rain, slow reflexes kill. Warm hands save lives. Number 8. Oil and fluids rising in the first 15 minutes of rain. It looks like the road's just a little wet. A sheen of water. No big deal, right? Wrong. That glossy layer is your worst enemy. When it starts raining after a dry spell, every drop of oil, coolant, fuel, and transmission fluid that's been sitting on the pavement gets lifted up by the water. And for the first 10 to 15 minutes, that surface is slipperier than anything you'll find in a mechanic's garage. You lean into a corner like normal. You brake lightly. You pull away from a stop. And suddenly, you're sliding sideways like Bambi on ice, wondering how the hell you lost traction doing something that's never caused a problem before. It's not the water that gets you. It's the cocktail of motor oil and rubber dust that's been marinating on the road for weeks. Now, turned into a death glaze. Paint lines, worse. Manhole covers, forget it. But even the regular asphalt turns traitor. Smart riders know when the rain first starts, slow everything down. Give the oil time to wash away. Ride like every inch of the road wants you dead, because for those first few minutes, it does. After that, still slippery, but at least now it's just water. Number 9. Cars driving blind or aggressive. Rain doesn't just mess with you, it messes with everyone else too. And most car drivers, they're not adjusting for it. When the weather turns ugly, some cagers drive like they're in a video game, rushing to get home faster, tailgating harder, and changing lanes without looking. And since their mirrors are foggy, their vision's worse, and their brain's already checked out, guess who they don't see? You. Even with your high-vis jacket and LED lights, you're invisible. Rain scatters light, covers mirrors, and turns every side window into a blurry mess. So when a car merges into your lane with zero warning, it's not personal, it's just that you're a ghost to them now. And that's not the worst part. Their stopping distances just doubled. Their tires are hydroplaning, and their reaction time, gone, because they're still texting with one hand and driving with the other. You have to ride like every car on the road is out of control, because in the rain, they basically are. Position yourself where you're most visible. Don't linger in blind spots, and never, ever assume they're going to make the right decision. Because when it pours, you're not just riding your bike, you're dodging 2-ton projectiles driven by people who can't see. Number 10. Waterlogged brakes after a deep splash. Here's a fun surprise. You ride through a puddle, everything feels fine, until you need to stop. You grab the brake lever, and nothing happens. Why? Because your brake pads are soaked. Water acts like a thin barrier between your pads and rotors. In dry conditions, they grip hard. But when wet, that grip disappears just long enough to ruin your day. It's not total failure, it's just delayed. You squeeze the lever, and instead of immediate bite, you get a mushy, lazy slowdown that eats up precious meters. And on a wet road, those extra meters are the difference between stopping in time and becoming a hood ornament. It's even worse if you just splash through deep water or a flooded patch. Some riders don't realize that brakes need time and heat to dry out. That means gently dragging them after a soak. Just a little friction builds enough warmth to bring them back to life. But if you forget, you'll be flying into the next turn with all the stopping power of a wet sponge. So, next time you hit water, don't just check your mirrors. Check your brakes. Because the road might look slick, but nothing's scarier than finding out your stoppers are on vacation. Number 11. Gear that distracts or malfunctions mid-ride. Rain is already stressful. Add bad gear into the mix, and suddenly your biggest enemy isn't the road. It's your own jacket flapping like a parachute. Cheap or poorly fitted rain gear is a recipe for distraction. Your collar whips you in the face, your visor fogs up from your own breath, and your gloves feel like soggy socks wrapped in regret. And while you're busy fiddling with a dripping zipper or slapping your sleeve back down, you're not scanning traffic or watching for hazards. Now you're cold, wet, and mentally checked out. Just in time for that oil-slicked roundabout. Even worse, gear that actually fails. A boot that lets in water until your toes squish like sponges. A visor that won't stay shut. A jacket that starts leaking at the shoulders and drips directly into your underwear. Suddenly, your brain isn't thinking about braking distance or lean angle. It's thinking, how fast can I get home? That's when you make mistakes. You misjudge a curve, rush through traffic, or miss a car that's about to swerve. Not because you can't ride, but because you're too busy being miserable. So don't cheap out on rain gear. Comfort isn't luxury in the rain, it's survival. Dry, warm, and focused wins every time. Number 12. Overconfidence from years of experience. Here's the twist ending. Some of the worst crashes in the rain don't happen to rookies. They happen to veterans. Riders with years under their belt, thousands of miles, and the kind of ego that says, I've ridden through worse. That's the trap. Overconfidence convinces you that you don't need to slow down for that wet curve, that your tires are good enough, that your experience will bail you out of anything, until it doesn't. Rain doesn't care how many bikes you've owned or how many group rides you've led. It'll humble you in half a second if you treat it like a minor inconvenience. Because every wet road is a blank slate. Conditions shift, traction changes, visibility drops, and experience can't help if you're using it as a shield instead of a tool. Plenty of riders have dumped their bike in the rain, not because they panicked, but because they didn't respect it. They braked late, leaned too far. They forgot that physics don't care how cool you looked last summer. So yeah, ride with confidence, but don't confuse confidence with immunity. The smartest riders know when to back off, recheck their habits, and treat every rainstorm like it's their first. That's how you get experience that actually keeps you alive. Rain isn't the villain. Complacency is. Every crash you just heard about, it's not bad luck. It's bad habits, bad assumptions, and bad prep. Wet roads punish laziness fast, and if you're not adapting every part of your riding, from how you brake to what you're wearing, you're rolling the dice every mile. But here's the truth. Some riders love riding in the rain. So let's hear it. What's your personal rule or ritual when riding in the wet? Do you ease off the throttle? Avoid lane paint like it's lava? Or maybe you've learned the hard way. Drop your best rainy day tip in the comments, especially the ones most riders overlook. You might just save someone else's skin. And if you found this helpful, stick around. We don't do fluff. We do real-world advice for real riders.